Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes. Okay. So, last week, Dad asked me if I would do the devotional. Well, he tried to get me to do the devotional last week, but it was Saturday asking me for Sunday, and I was like, oh, that's a little soon. He got Mom to do it. So, that worked out nicely. But then he asked me if I would do it this week because Caleb is preaching, and so it'd be kind of cool to have like a sibling tag team duo. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it, and I had no idea what I was going to talk about. Well, Dad always says, I'm preaching to myself. He's always trying to target himself. So I decided in this devotional, I'm going to target myself. And I know one thing that I've really been struggling with is the flesh versus the spirit. And my flesh has been winning recently, and that's definitely not good. But I just wanted to target how important it is that we make sure that what we're doing with our time, how we're spending our time and what we're focusing on is of the spirit and that our flesh is not winning. And so one verse, I was flipping through the concordance of my Bible, and I was looking for anything about worldliness or flesh or anything, and as I was flipping through it, I just saw purify, and I was like, I don't really know if this would go with anything I'm going to say, but I'll look at it. And one of the verses was James 4:8, I think. I'm not sure. Yes, James 4:8. And James 4:7 says, therefore submit to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. And that's a pretty well-known verse. Almost everyone knows that verse. It's empowering. We can resist the devil and he'll flee. Well, then the next verse says, draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. Well, I was like, wow, that's a verse for you right there. And so I decided I'm going to look up double-minded. And there's a lot of definitions of double-minded. It can be in your prayer and how you read the word, several different meanings of it. But one that I didn't see, was about the flesh versus the spirit. And I was like, I really think that this could be one meaning of double-minded, is that we're letting our flesh and our spirit be together. It's like we're halfway in the door. We've got one foot in and one foot out. We want to get the blessings from God, and we want to have all these promises and everything, but we don't actually want to do our part in the relationship. We don't want to put the effort into it and put the work. We don't want to love God wholly and make sure He's the only thing that we focus on. We don't want to actually get up 10 minutes earlier to read a little bit of our Bible. We don't want to pray every night and every day and at every meal. We just want to focus on us, but we still want the promises from God. We still want what He has for us, but we don't really care about our part in it. And that's not how God works. God wants us to be in it all the way. He wants us to be all the way through that door, not halfway. I mean, in anything else, in relationships, in jobs, at school, for some of us, we're not going to put in half the effort. I mean, if you do that, you're going to get fired, or you're going to get suspended, or there are going to be serious consequences. So you can't have the peace of God and all His other blessings. You can't have His protection and His love if you don't do your part. And so we need to be very careful that we're not focusing so much on us. I know with me, I don't have a job like 9 to 5 every day, so I'm pretty much just at home watching TV, playing video games, listening to music, and I need to be very careful that I'm making sure that God has an important part in my life, that He is the forefront, and that I'm not letting all that other stuff come before Him. I need to make sure that I read my Bible and that I make it a point to put Him in front of my life. Sometimes I have to say no to my flesh, and I have to say, no, I'm not going to watch this next episode that looks really good. I'm going to read my Bible, or I'm going to pray. I need to talk to God. I've got some stuff I'm dealing with that I need to talk to him about, and I need to communicate with him. And so another verse that I have is, Dad shared this one with me, Isaiah 26:3. And it says, "You will keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on you." And so we need to make sure that our mind is stayed on him, that he's the only thing that really matters. Because in the grand scheme of everything, Dad says that a lot, like, in the grand scheme of everything, does this really matter? Is this that important? No. All this earthly stuff, this worldly stuff, it will be gone eventually. But God will always be there. And he is what's really important and what really matters. And we have to make sure that he is what comes first. And so, as I was saying earlier, we want the blessings. So this one says, you will keep him in perfect peace. I don't know about you guys, but I would like some perfect peace. Amen. So to get the perfect peace, we have to keep our minds stayed on him. And we have to make sure that, no, we might not be spending every minute reading our Bible or every minute talking to God, but he needs to be what we're thinking about, what we're focusing on. Yes. And we need to be focusing on the heavenly things. This brings me to my next verse, Philippians 4:8. And it says, "Finally, brethren, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, if there is any virtue and if there is anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things." So this is just saying focus on the good things, on the heavenly things, the things that are of God, that his blessings, that he wants us to care about. Yes, we can occasionally watch a TV show or we can do earthly things, but we need to make sure that that's not what we're focusing on. We need to be focusing on the Lord and his goodness, because he's the one who created us to enjoy these things. And so we need to make sure that he's the one that really matters in our lives. And then right after that, verse 9, it says, "The things which you learned and received and heard and saw in me, these do, and the God of peace will be with you." So when we focus on these things and we make sure that he really matters, it's when we get that peace. So that's all I have.
Amen.